Well, here's our cylinder head. Now we've just got that back from Quentin. Quentin's a friend of ours. He did his work experience with me years ago, and I'll put a little slide up to his business. And I got Quentin to do the head for me this time. I do have the valve cutting gear and the seat cutting gear, but this head, from the dust that had gone through, we needed to fit inserts into it. So an insert is a new seat. Now, normally you can cut a seat and you can cut them and they get further and further down as time goes, and you can resize them a bit, but this was down that far. I wanted new inserts put in, so we had a good job. So I took it to Quentin. He's just a young fella, bought this engine centre, and he's trying to build it back up to what it once was. So I took the job to him. I supplied the brand new Sparex valves all the way. He cut the inserts for me. He machined the head here. Now that little stain there, that's just where it decided, you can go chasing some of this stuff. Look at that little shine blaring the camera out. Fancy that, eh? You can take them too far, and we decided that was the limit. There's plenty of good area around here for the pre-combustion chamber, for the fire ring, and the fire ring will come in between this water jacket here and round. So we've got plenty of room. He's done a nice job of it. He's gone down till almost, well, we just skimmed a couple of these little pushrod tubes. That's not a worry ever. Now, there's a couple of things I asked him not to do, and just so I could show you. Now, on my bench here, this hole here, originally that just had a white metal plug in there, and I don't know really what it's for. I thought it may have been just something to get some of the casting moulds out in the factory, but I'm not 100% sure. But what happens over time is this white metal in here, it corrodes from the inside out, and you can see the rusty threads and all that in there. Yeah, look, I don't know, I don't think you can see that, but anyway. But look, what we do is that thread there is 3/4 BSP, so British Standard Pipe. So this is a tapered thread, and so what we try and do is run a tap down in there, and I might have to clean this one up a little bit to get the tap to run down. And we clean this up a bit, blow it all out, and what we do is we actually go to the hydraulics place. We find a brass 3/8 BSP taper blanking plug, and we tap that into the head here, and after we clean the thread, we tap it out so it sits quite a bit lower, and we always make sure that one of the flats of the hex here is in line with the tappet cover side surface, so the tappet cover doesn't touch it, it doesn't rub on it or anything like that. So I'll see if we can do that. I'm not sure if I've got all the gear I need up the back here. I might have to go up the front for some of this. But look, all we're trying to do is start this thread, and I'm going to have to get another tap and come down. So, but the idea, you can see that thread's trying to start there, and we want to drop that down so it's in there half a dozen threads or more, and that way having water coming into your sump oil is never going to happen from coming through here. Now, I believe a lot of little Fergies get done up because of water in the sump, and everyone pulls the liners out, and oh, that's no good, and they put them back in and they say, oh, I've done the liners and I've still got water in my sump. It's happened again. So they pull the engine apart once more, presuming that they've got a liner loose, and it can well be this here. Now, I've had my little golden grey Fergie 35. I took it for a road run, and I actually had Welsh plug trouble, but when I started checking into it, there was just a couple of little green coolant bubbles here. So we dug it out, and look, it was millimeters thick. It was going to let go at any time. So we did this fix. So I'll go off camera. I'll try and get this thread started and tidied up, so we're just not wasting time whether you're watching me fiddle. And then another thing I ask him to leave out is the Welsh plug at the back of the head. So there's a Welsh plug at the back of the head, a freeze plug, core plug. They're called different things in different parts of the world, and we'll go through putting that in too. So I'll get this thread started. I'll probably go up the front and get a better starting tap, and we'll come back when we're just ready to screw this in. We have to cut the thread, tidy up all the rust out of the thread, blow it all out, make sure we've got all the rubbish out, and I'll come back when it's time to fit the stud. And here we go. I've got the thread started, and to get this one we had a bit of rusty thread, so I just did a quick run round with a die grinder to clean the rust out, as the tap didn't want to start properly. So we've got it there now. We've got a nice clean thread there now. It seems to be taken well. So we can feel that cutting into the cast iron nicely. Now we don't want to go too far because it's a tapered thread, and the bung will want to sit down in too far. So what we look at here is we'll clean this out again. So we clean all that out, and I did that just before we come back on air. On air, nothing to do with air, Lance. Now what I like to do now is just do a quick dummy run down here. And so we still have plenty of thread there. So I'll go and find a socket to suit this, which I should have had here before. Bloody hard to get good help, really is. And we'll put a bit of Loctite and we'll put this in. And with the wonders of modern technology, I'm back. So what I'm doing here with the dry run is I'll just I've got a socket bar here. I'm just checking that it's going to go down nice and firm. Look, that's tightening up nicely, which is what we want. So Kelly Dog thinks she's got to have a bark again. The neighbours are playing round up the driveway, so she thinks she's the boss of the whole show. So we'll get a bit of our favourite, our Loctite 515 again, or our Bearco R51 as a good one. So we've got plenty there, a bit too much again. And then we'll screw this plug in. You have to excuse the dog barking. I have no control over me dog. Well, I do have some. She comes for tea. Okay, so what we're doing now, we've Loctited that in so that can't leak ever again. And we'll probably try and get this flat, nice and flat with the side, so when the tappet cover goes on, we're not hindering it at all. And being a tapered thread, that gives us a chance to do that. Just a little more. And that's done. When we look around, I'll just take this clamp away from here. I had a clamp there to stop the head from sliding off the bench. And when we look down the side there now, we can see that that's in line and we shouldn't be hindering anything at all. So I'll shift this piston, I'll shift this fella here, we'll slide that right up there. And we'll bring the camera down and we'll just run through fitting a Welsh plug. Okay, we've got the head here now. Now there's a little diamond plate there that looks after, that just seals the back of this water jacket here. Mine was a bit crook. I will make one of them, but just not at the moment. This is about putting this Welsh plug in. Now I've got a few shadows here, but I was having trouble getting light into the area. So what we're looking to do here is just make sure that the little shoulder in there that we'd like to sit the new Welsh plug on is nice and free, and it's a nice sharp edge, and there's no rubbish at all sitting in there. So we clean that up as best we can. So we're looking for a nice smooth surface. I've got a little bit of rubbish just there that I need to take out. And I'll rub a screwdriver around here if I can. Yep, that's looking good. Now the Welsh plug, it's a dome. Now there is cup ones, and a cup one you would put something flat across the top, then knock it in. But this one here goes that way. And so because of the dome there, we put a bit of goo around the side there, and then we dent it in the middle here. Now, because it's a dome, as we dent it in the middle, the outside edge of this wants to get bigger, but it can't because it's in this housing here. So we have to give it a good hit, dome it out, or spread it out without going too far in, because if we actually hit this so much that the dome goes the other way, well, we start weakening it once more. And so this is another place where I use this Loctite 515. Look, I use this stuff everywhere. It's just good gear. And it doesn't get anywhere. Like, you know, you can put it in here. You can, any little bits of leftovers or anything like that, they don't go anywhere. We'll just run a bit more through. So that'll seal. Once it's anaerobic, once the water goes away, that won't, it'll set then, it won't set beforehand. And so look, the job is as simple as, you can put stainless or brass, but I'm putting steel because this tractor will always have coolant in it from now on. And I have a little alloy punch there that I just get things started with. So you can see we're in all the way around there, we're all nice and even. Give it a wipe so you can see. So now we have to give this a couple of really good hits. Okay, we're not dented in, we just know a little bit round flattish in the centre there, but we still have the dome to hold tension. So that now, that won't come out in a fit. Now, like I say, you can use brass or stainless. I'm just using the steel because it'll have coolant. With coolant in it, that will last many, many years. If it was a tractor that I didn't know, probably a customer's tractor, I may put a stainless one or a brass or something like that. But look, that's all we need to do. I'll just tidy up a bit of gasket goo from around this brass plug. And look, that's it for the cylinder head for the moment. There's not much more we need to do. Quentin did all the work for us. I will check about making a little plate there. Now, originally it had a little tin shield here, and it had a little dome coming through the end here, and that allowed flow to come in past this brass housing here, or copper housing, and it could come out and around. But when you put a flat one on, you don't have that dome. But look, there's quite a few millimetres there. When I just run a bit of a straight edge across it, you can see probably 4 to 5 millimetres between the edge here and where a flat plate would go. So I believe that's enough. When you had the other one, you would have had a little bit more, perhaps 8 mil, but I'll make a new plate for that when I get a moment. I'm not going to jump into that just now. I have other stuff I need to do. So there you go. That's the cylinder head done. Thanks, Quentin. I paid him to do it. It wasn't a freebie. He's a young man starting a business, and you don't need blokes looking for shit for nothing when you're trying to start a business and get a start in life. So there you go. Thanks, Quentin. And yeah, that's all we're going to be doing on the cylinder head.